This episode of Invent America Radio is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King Broadcasting Network and has been bringing you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host Rita Crompton. Discover what's next for new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Rita Crompton talked to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today.
Hello, America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
Yeah, hey! Welcome everyone to the Invent America show right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. And now I'd like to welcome the star of the show, the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. How you doing, Miss Rita?
I am fine. And you know what? It is so lovely to see spring out. So yeah, it's a good day in Eastern Tennessee.
Wow. Yeah, and great day in South Louisiana. And I got my pool ready and I'm ready to go swimming. And this weekend is the resurrection and death and resurrection of our Lord Savior Jesus Christ. And that's exciting down here. And I got 2 sacks of crawfish coming for we ball crawfish down here. Most people barbecue, but we ball crawfish down here. And and everybody knows I love my brewskis. So, hey, I'm excited. I can't wait for the weekend. And it's a beautiful, I got my pool ready to go.
Yeah, well, it sounds great. We'll be over for Sunday afternoon dinner.
But, man, a lot going on. Man, you heard a little bit about Mike Watts, the founder of Tree Steak. And I know we're going to try to work to get him in on Invent America because he would be a perfect educational source to help our young inventors and walk them through that. The blueprint that we've established in the last couple of years, and with a company like that really is doing some great things. And but a lot going on. But I wanted to talk about, Rita, about R&D Tax Credit, research and development. And over the past 4 or 5 years, with the cost of inflation and the cost of people just don't put any money in research and development anymore. So we have to have an incentive for people to put money in research development. And the only way companies are going to do that is what? Give them tax breaks, right? And you hear it all the time.
And the big thing is, is for so many of our independent inventors, they don't even know this is an option. And it's been around for 40 years. But if we don't let everyone know how to do it, who to contact, and the value of it there, you're right, because it doesn't start right away. So our goal is to teach them early on what kind of books they need to keep, the receipts, what the impact is going to be. And so if they don't qualify, okay, they didn't qualify. But holy cow, the tragedy is when they could have qualified and didn't even know to ask. So that's what we're trying to do.
It's just another tool in the box is all it is. It's just another tool in the box. And that's what we're trying to do here. But
it's just dangerous enough that if I crawl in that sandbox and tell everybody what to do, I get into trouble. Holy cow. Yeah. So, it's like, no, call Sybil, this, this wonderful lady who helps our inventors and works with our inventors to know the right paperwork so that, IRS doesn't come back and bite me and you get the tools you need to use.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. But research and development, man, that's the key to future technology. Research and development uses reserved for established companies that want to, but it's not for the established companies. And that's the point you just made. It's for the ordinary, because the big companies are taking advantage of that. Don't think they're writing that off.
Oh yeah. They know, they know about it and they use it. But research finding out what else is out there. It's called research. Finding out how to do something. It's research. Developing your prototype, having someone do CAD drawings and rapid prototypes. Okay, development. All of that stuff falls into the development part of it. And most inventors think, oh, the research and development tax, if you're making spaceships and electric cars and all that kind of stuff, that's the only time you can use it. No, not really. That research and development works for the independent inventor coming up with a new kitchen gadget.
Now, I know you got some great guests lined up, and are they related to the subject matter we're talking about now? We're going to talk about this subject matter from them. I'll get their feedback on this.
Well, absolutely.
Oh, good.
The Kristie and Floyd have got a very cool new product that every single mother is going to want to have, or every single person who's taking care of an elderly person. Everybody's going to want to have this thing. They are manufacturing, so they are in the position to be able to take advantage of this, and they didn't know about it. Wow. And then my other guest, he did know about it. He had a really good accountant. At least he thinks his accountant knew about it. So we will find out from Eric whether or not his accountant really did know about it. And then our industry expert is Sybil, and she's the one who actually does the work with the inventors.
Wow. So yeah, it's all tied in. And I do welcome my audience to stay with us. It's more than just me and you talking about it, to let our audience and our young inventors know that it exists, but how to implement it and walk you through. Again, I know you hear me talking about a blueprint. It's just putting a blueprint together and following it and doing it over and over and over. And
well, it is. And, I think for our listeners, hearing about these two new products, because both of these products are available, and they're just, they're everyday consumer products that can be bought online, and they are both so amazing. And so, that's one thing we want to share. But the other thing is that, there's a lot of people out there. Everybody thinks about being an inventor. It's not like you're going to say, I'm going to grow up and be an inventor, but every once in a while, every single person out there said, oh, that's kind of a new idea. And so knowing these steps to take, or sharing it with somebody in the family or a neighbor who is an inventor, say, I heard this really cool show. Are you doing that R&D tax credit? Well, it makes you look really smart. Those are some of the things that we look at, as being able to share, new products, and then, the steps, like you said, what's the path?
Yeah, and that's true. So, but let me switch gears a little bit. Research and development, that's what we're talking about here. And again, it's part of, the tools in the box. But what I learned, especially when we're talking about the United States Commerce Department, and if you answer the government's questions, I learned that a long time ago. Okay, get the expert to answer the government's questions, or just get them answered. Then the government's going to answer your question. And you know how they answer your question? Either they're going to send you a check, or they're going to send you that, you give you a certificate that, you're eligible for XYZ amount tax deduction, which could be the difference of getting that product to market, or even in some cases, even turn a profit. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know the one standard answer, if you're talking to an attorney and you ask them a question, their standard answer is, it depends. And I deal with a lot of attorneys, and I catch myself now saying, somebody asked me a question, so, well, it depends. So, yes, I get that. It's like, well, this is what it's going to cost you, or, this is the way the forms are going to work. And, we had a whole bunch of the power of attorney forms going out to some of our different clients. And it's like, attorney, you need to understand that these forms, you deal with these forms, they look like gobbledygook to the client. So you've got to put an X where you want them to sign, otherwise they're not going to understand. So those are just some of the, the funny things I've learned over the 20 years is, kind of the standard professional answers that people get. It's like, that is not what we want to hear. Get over it. And these are the forms you need to sign. It's like, where? There's a whole bunch of lines.
Well, Rita, so the three guests that you have, and I'm excited. We're going to be talking to all three of them. And is this the first time any of them's been on the show? Do you know?
Yes,
yeah.
It is. These are all new inventors and industry experts that we've never had on before. And I'm hoping that we will change that, because, I get some of the inventors that just have so much fun when they're on the show.
Yeah.
And so, new products that are available online, new topic, and new inventors. Wow. And I've talked to a whole bunch of new inventors over the last 2 weeks. So we've got new inventors coming up everywhere.
Well, Rita, we're going to have to take a short break. We got to pay some bills. And when we come back, you're going to have Floyd and Kristie Henderson. They're in the green room right now. And I know they're excited. They're chomping at the bit to be on the number one home improvement talk show in America now. And, but let's go ahead and pay some bills and we're going to be right back. Okay. All right. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at hometalkusa.com. If you want to learn about the Invent America show, the Made America show, just click there, follow the prompts, and you can listen to our archives and all the past shows. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back right here on the King's Broadcasting Network, along with Rita Crompton. We're going to be right back. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Everybody, and thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America. Why? Because America invents. We've been doing it for hundreds of years and we will continue to do it, solving the problems of everyday consumers. This segment is brought to you by Aztec Washer. It's a revolutionary and innovative way of fixing the roof. And they've been around since 1968. So holy cow, if they've been around that long and they're still going strong, seal it right, seal it tight. These are your guys. AztecWasher.com.
All right, Rita, why don't you introduce Floyd and Kristie Henderson? Great job.
Oh, thank you very much. I've been told I have a voice for radio. It's wonderful. So my next guests are Floyd and Kristie Henderson, and they have got this really cool invention called Gear Trakr. Now, if you're a mom or you are a caregiver to someone that walks away and sets their stuff down, holy cow, this is what you need. So Kristie, Floyd, tell our listeners about Gear Trakr.
Sure. Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name's Kristie. This is my husband Floyd. And so Gear Trakr we came up with a few years back. Just give you a quick backline on everything. If you will, envision a herd of children coming in from elementary school recess time with all of their winter gear on. And of course, they don't have lockers at that age. Normally, it's all outside in the hallway. And they're taking off their gear, and there goes a glove on the floor. And then like a pinball machine, boom, 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 all the way down the hall. Comes to 7 o'clock the next morning. It's time to go to school. It's 10 below zero here in Wisconsin. I don't know where everybody else is, but it's frigid here in the winter. And our daughter goes to get to school, and I said, well, where's your gloves? Well, Mom, I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? So we went through that series 3 times in January, February timeframe. Now, if you live up here, it's not so easy to get them in February. You go to Walmart or Target or wherever, and they're already selling swimsuits. So, 3 pairs of gloves later, I look at my husband, I said, this is just not right. I said, is everybody going through this? Because I get done with work and I don't have time. School is closed. I can't go find, her gloves in the lost and found. There's got to be a resolution to this. We're not the only ones. And how can we make this affordable? And, what can we do to help? So we came up with Gear Trakr. We decided on the appropriate technology that would work the best. We didn't go with GPS because, of course, that's quite a bit more affordable. We wanted something that isn't $40 a piece. We want you to be able to put it on all your kids' gear. Some stuff isn't that expensive, but it's expensive when you keep buying it over and over and over again. So we came up with that, and then we developed our app, Gear Trakr, and started introducing it to schools. They liked it for kids, for band instruments, for hockey gear. Some wanted it on their tools, ice fishing, pickleball, lunch boxes,
backpacks,
anything.
gloves.
Yeah, hats, mittens, everything.
Husband's
and then my
gloves,
husband's
husband's glasses, husband's keys. Yeah,
Everything.
Yeah. And he's like, where else would be a good place for this? Is he goes in the pro shop at the golf course. He says, you know how expensive some of those clubs run just a piece? And I was like, yeah, that is another bright idea for it. So we developed the app. We also wanted it editable so it can grow with your children. We want, if your information changes, if their information changes, their grade, their teacher, their school, your phone number, your address, whatever you decide to put on there, of course, you get to choose. But they can contact you. All they do is read the tag and it tells them, this goes to Nora in 3rd grade with Mrs. Smith. You can bring it right there. It doesn't have to go in the lost and found. It can go directly to Nora. She doesn't even have to know that you found it and brought it back. Obviously, mom and dad will get an instant notification, which is a bonus. So mom can say when she gets home from school, hey, Nora, do you have your glove? I see you lost it today. What do you mean, mom? Sure, So it's wonderful in that aspect, especially for the school, saves out a lot of time and money and effort in trying to figure out how to handle that lost and found. Can save pro shops drastically with their lost clubs and trying to figure out what they're going to do with those. And then we also, let's see, so I went over the instant notifications, edibility, affordability, durability.
Yep, we have 5 different SKUs, different styles of tags, from zipper pulls, we got labels, we have a larger one for backpacks.
Stickers for water bottles, because those are getting expensive. Some of those mugs are upwards of $50. So yeah, and then they're washable and durable. We've tested them out in the
Dishwasher.
Yep, washer.
Great.
Machine, dryer.
Well, you guys are in the perfect spot because you're selling now, so you've got an income to base those deductions against, those credits, and because you can't use the credit until you've got income to push off of. And so, did you guys even know this was an option?
R&D, no.
No, we did not.
I wish
I
we
didn't even know there was such a thing.
So, how long have you been working on Gear Tracker since you said, okay, we got to do something, to being in the marketplace?
2021.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
first started the initial development stages.
Excellent, excellent. So you are really in the sweet spot now, because now you're selling products, so you can use that. And so when the next steps for you guys are what?
Well, with the business, we've been doing a lot of social media. Obviously, we've been introduced to you, Rita. We're very interested in hoping to license some of our product and
get it out there and get it in people's hands. Anxious to see it get used, learn more about R&D, obviously.
yeah.
Well, we want to make sure that you've got all the resources that you need. Where can our listeners go and buy your product?
Geartracker.com. Make sure you spell it right, because it'll change it on you.
Yes, it will. Artificial intelligence is only as good as the artificial person putting it in. So,
Right?
Yeah, but we dabbled a little bit with Amazon. Our golf tags you can purchase currently on Amazon as well.
And then we are on all social media.
Right.
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
We are going to get you posted on our site, Invent America, so people can go and find you. And we want to make sure that you got all the information that you need to go through until we do get it licensed. And if you want to meet Sybil, stick around, because she's going to be our industry expert. And we are going to run off and pay some bills right now. And if you are out there and you are an inventor, or an inventor, join us on Invent America Radio. It's free. I love to talk to new inventors. And you know what? If you call me, I will actually answer my phone. If you need a new service provider because you don't like the one you've got, give me a call again, because we are going to be able to help you with good vetted service providers. And our expert on R&D Tax Credit, we've got her email and her phone number, and we are more than happy to share that. Stick with us, everybody. We will be right back. Hello, America, and thank you for being with us for this segment of Invent America Radio. It is brought to you by Bond Products. This is the DIY Fix-It kit for carpeting that is starting to fray. Holy cow, I've got dogs. That happens on a regular basis. It is Instabind, the Bond products that will help you fix anything that is beginning to fray. And we want you to be able to go and get bondproducts.com whenever you need to. Do it yourself. Happens to all of us, right? So my guest right now is Eric Barnhart. He is the inventor of Bumpin Brand. Eric, thanks so much for being with us this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, this is, the name doesn't do this quite justice on how cool it is until everybody understands what it is. So tell our listeners, what is Bumpin Brand?
Yeah, so the company's Bumpin Brand, our flagship product, the first product I came out with and invented was is the Bumpin Belt. So it's the world's first Bluetooth belt buckle speaker. And so I love to play golf, be outside. Music has been a big part of my life since I was a kid. And, when we're out playing golf, me and my buddies will typically have a small little portable speaker in our cart. And one day we were out playing, and one of the guys that was in our group played a little Major League Baseball. And so we were talking about his experience having his own walk-up music to the plate in the majors, and that's kind of where the idea took off. And said, "Man, that'd be cool if we could have our own walk-up music to the tee box." And I'm sure if we had the right, our right picked song there, we would hit balls longer and straighter. The science is still waiting for the results if that's actually true. It feels like it's true. So if you have confidence over the ball when you're swinging, you'll tend to hit it straighter and longer. So came up with an idea to basically how could I take portable speaker and design it in such a way to where you could be hands-free, be able to be aware of your surroundings and share music with your personal space, whether it's just for you doing things around the house, being able to hear what's going on around you and still be able to interact with family members who need to get your attention and not having earbuds in and kind of being closed off to the world. Or wanted to go for a hike and be aware if there's other people behind you or animals or anything of that nature. How would that work, right? So that's kind of where I came up with the idea of, a belt buckle speaker would be great because you could wear it. It's close enough to to your ears so that you could hear. And then your hands are free to do whatever activity you're doing. And in my case, it's typically going out and playing golf. So I spent about 18 months in research and design and prototyping to get the form factor the way that I had envisioned it. I needed to be extremely lightweight so that you didn't feel like you had anything bulky that you were wearing. I wanted it to sound great for you and your personal space, but not interfere with others who are on a hole over or down the fairway. But just really for you and your group. I wanted it to be rechargeable and have a long battery life. So I was able to, getting the form factor down and small enough, you're trying to get batteries in there and speakers so that it sounds great. And there's custom boards and all this stuff that you're trying to fit into micro audio, form factor. But we were able to do that and come up with a form factor that isn't intrusive. It's a little over 2 ounces, so it's extremely lightweight. It's waterproof. Able to we'll put a microphone in there so you could take a phone call and say, "Hey, I'm on the golf course, and I'll call you back when I wrap up." And then wanted to make it very versatile. So the back of the speaker is magnetic, so it can magnet to anything metal. So on the side of your golf cart, if you want to keep it there, or magnet and receive into the belt that we've designed. And then we also have a belt clip accessory that magnets onto the back of it when you remove it from your belt. So you can clip it onto any bag, workout shorts, anywhere where you might not want to wear an actual belt with belt loops on. And so more of a if you're going out for a walk or a run, or want to put it on your dog's leash while you're walking your dog. You know, it's very versatile. And then we have, wanted to make sure that it was completely hands-free, and we included 4 gigs of internal memory so that you could download a playlist and not have to be tethered to your phone at all. So that was the original, concept, and a lot of time and thought and effort went into, how could I create something that was more than just a product to be used on the golf course, and how could I create something that had, a lot of uses, and still was an amazing belt. If you didn't want to wear the speaker, you take the, pull the belt buckle speaker off and put a faceplate on, and now it's just like a normal belt that's looks great. And
Well, I've got a quick question for you, Eric. Do you have to be in a phone zone? So does there have to be that signal that it gets to, or can you download the stuff to it and play it?
right, so you do not have to be within range of your phone, but so it's a Bluetooth device with a 4 gig storage, gigs of storage on the device, so that you can download MP3s into the speaker. I'd say the majority of the use cases from all the feedback that we've received is folks, connecting it to their phone, and then if they're playing golf with it, having it magnet to the side of the golf cart for most of the round, and then when they're going to tee off for a par 3 or a, this is where they're feeling excited and ready to hit a nice, long drive, they'll pull it off of the cart, pop it onto the belt buckle, walk over to the tee box and hit it, but really stay within range of where your mobile device is, which is typically in the golf cart at that point.
Great. Well, you are selling products. So you're at bumpinbrands.com.
We're Bumpin Brand without the S. We had originally launched as Boomin' Belts. However, we ran into some, weren't able to secure our trademark for that, but we were able to secure trademark for Bumpin' and Bumpin Brands. So we did have to kind of figure out what the our trademark and new branding would be. So we were able to secure that. We have a utility patent on the belt buckle speaker, and are finalizing a second product, which is a tumbler, like a Yeti style tumbler, that has been specifically designed to be recessed where, closer to the top of a tumbler, so that the same speaker magnets into the side of the tumbler. So
Okay.
that way
So
you can
my question for you, all right, so that we stay on track with our conversation today, is that you did know about the R&D tax credit, or at least your accountant told you about it.
it was something that had come up, but I'm not taking advantage of it today. So definitely want to learn a little bit more of how that might apply. We've had quite a considerable amount of R&D expenses of buying every micro audio speaker on the market to figure out how it works, and then also working with a dedicated team to kind of come up with a design and feasibility of the speaker, and make sure it sounds great in a small form factor.
Well, one of the things that we've learned from about the R&D tax credit is you've got to be far enough into the process that, one, you're selling products so that you've got something to bump this, again, no pun intended, Eric, but you've got to be able to get that lined up. And then you've got to know ahead of time what kind of records to keep. And so everybody stick with us, because Sybil Bailey is going to be on. She is our R&D tax credit expert, and she's going to answer some of these questions for us as soon as we take a break and go pay some bills. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back.
Don't have the time or expertise to market your small business? Constant Contact's powerful digital marketing platform helps you grow your audience, engage your customers, and sell more to boost your business. Now, with just a few clicks, you can launch a personalized marketing campaign that includes email, social, SMS, and more tailored to your business and your goals. Save time and get real results with Constant Contact. Try it free today at ConstantContact.com.
Hello, America, and thank you for being with us for this segment of Invent America Radio, brought to you by Liberty Tabletop by Cheryl Manufacturing. It is America's only flatware made in the U.S. So for all of your flatware, dinnerware, cookware, glassware, think libertytabletop.com.
All right,
And
Rita, we've been talking about R&D this whole show. I mean, it's all about research and development. Now we finally got an expert getting ready to come, right? So let's introduce Sybil.
All righty. So my expert today is Sybil Bailey. She is with Clarus R&D. Sybil, thank you so much for being with us and for working with our inventors so that we can all understand what goes into the R&D tax credit.
Yes, thank you for having me today.
So what is it?
Yes, so the R&D tax credit is short for the Research and Development Tax Credit. It's a federal incentive designed to encourage innovation. Basically, the government recognizes that innovation is expensive, so they wanted to create this tax credit to keep that innovation within the United States and to keep inventors inventing. So it is a dollar-for-dollar reduction in federal tax liability for those qualified research activities. So the main areas that we're going to be focusing on when looking at the qualifying activities for the R&D tax credit are going to be Box 1 W-2s for US-based employees, US-based contractors, and supplies. So those are going to be the main buckets that we're looking at when we're looking at our QREs or our qualified research expenditures. And the credit will be roughly 7 to 10% of those QREs. So basically, those that are creating a new product, a new process, software, formula, or technique, if you own the IP to what you're doing and that research and development that you're spending the time on, you definitely should look into this tax credit. It's super helpful for all sized companies. Basically, when the credit was originally established, it was really to only offset income tax liability. So it was really those larger corporations that were benefiting from this tax credit. But with the PATH Act in 2015, it then allowed smaller startup companies to claim the credit as well, and they could offset it against a portion of their payroll taxes. So it really opened the floodgates to who could claim the credit and how many companies could really benefit from this tax credit. Some qualifying activities that we would be focusing on when seeing if a company is qualified. We'd be looking to see if they were doing different product design, process improvement, software development. Some common industries that we see qualifying for the credit are software companies, manufacturing, biotech, agriculture, food and beverage. So it's a really wide range. Not many companies know about it, and a lot of companies are kind of leaving that money on the table, and it is a super valuable tax credit that many can claim.
Well, Sybil, I'm sorry, I want to interject here, Sybil. Before, in the early part of the show, that was my point. What you just basically said is the big boys know about it.
Exactly.
It's a question of getting the information to the smaller people that really can make a difference in getting their product to market by taking advantage of all the U.S. tax credits. But Rita, I know I'm interjecting. I'm getting off subject here, which is so important. I remember a couple months ago when we did the copyright patent protection show, and I want to do a roundtable coming up. We got to do a roundtable on all this. There's no sense of getting a tax credit if we have a corrupt patent office. You understand what I'm getting at here on that show?
Yes, I remember the show. And, one of the things that,
I'm sorry, Sybil, we're getting off the track here.
Jumping in. I want to give the listeners what they want.
There are roughly 600,000 patents filed every year. All right. The issue rate is right around 50 to 55%. I go and I look at these numbers on a regular basis. All right. So there's a lot of inventors out there that are in those early phases. And one of the things that we've seen is that when we can license it to a bigger company, they will often fight that bill. And it's like Josh Malone was the inventor of Bunch of Balloons, and he ran into that big time when he got knocked off. But he had licensed it to then a toy company. The toy company fought the battle, and they fought the PTAB. They fought the USPTO. Now, it cost lots of money, but they won lots of money when they finally won.
Yeah.
But it's the bigger companies that will fight the battles. And so for our inventors that are in those early stages of just getting it into the marketplace and proving themselves, you know, when you can get some more money back in your pocket that you've had to dish out, holy cow, it might make the difference between doing another run because you got some money back and saying, I can't do this anymore. So we're really trying to look out for the inventors.
Yeah, very well said. And what you got to understand, Sybil, I'm sure you don't know what's been happening here, is that a lot of the big corporations, their employees or past employees will get appointed to them positions. So it was a losing battle going in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we had stories, and you know, but the thing is, we got to do a roundtable and maybe get Greg Owens involved, and maybe get a couple congressmen involved here to where they understand that the deck is stacked with, you know, for the little guy. But that's what this show is doing. It's protecting the little guy, because at the end of the day, Microsoft, Google, Microsoft, Apple, they didn't start off at 5 billion, you know, $100 billion company. You understand? It was all in a garage somewhere.
Yep.
You understand? So that's what we want to do. And I'm sorry, but I had to bring that up.
No, I appreciate it.
That's quite all right. So in just a few seconds, Sybil, what kind of information do you need a startup entity, a new inventor, to keep so that they can take advantage of it?
Yeah, so we would be wanting them to kind of track and record those details around the R&D that they have been doing. So project descriptions, objectives, outcomes. We'd want them to be tracking their expenses. So specifically those 3 buckets that we covered earlier. So anything really relating to the R&D, we want to be able to track that easily. So it just makes it more seamless when trying to claim the credit. And those would be the main areas.
All right, we will get you back on again. I will have you at the Inventors Roundtable so you can talk directly to the inventors. We will get that all sent out. Everyone, thanks so much for being with us today. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday weekend, and we will be back with another topic related to inventors and new products for our consumers to enjoy. Thanks, everybody.